Welcome back to our channel. This is the Empire Behind Closed Doors podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Tracy, and this is Chester. We're throwing up signs as if you can see.
That's true. Very true.
All right, so just you know what? We're just gonna spill the beans. You'll see that on our YouTube channel. You can't see our video anymore, and you're probably wondering why. Why is there just a still photo? Great story, actually. We wanted to have this whole theme of just sharing our setting with the audience. So just like taking them outside for some fresh air, and having kind of like a different background every time. But we're in Vegas, and it is not officially summer, but it's getting hot. Mm-hmm. And so you know what happens? Our phones overheat. Yeah. And then we can't record. It just stops. So bear with us as we are trying to navigate through the bumps and bruises of, starting a podcast. So, and if you don't like it, then too bad.
Yeah, just going to have to live with it.
It's just going to have to deal as we are learning to deal. Mm-hmm. Life is all about adaptation. Mm-hmm. And we're not here for the likes, which leads us into the topic of our discussion.
Mm-hmm. So the objective, living for purpose and not popularity. This is episode 4.
Yeah, it's 4.
Legacy versus likes.
Legacy versus likes.
Mm-hmm.
Living for purpose, not popularity. It's actually it's a really timely subject, just because we're fairly new into this social media game, kind of putting out content for the masses. And I mean, my whole experience with social media has been very private.
Yeah.
And so coming out and putting stuff in public, like, all new to me, but there's a purpose for it. Mm-hmm. And I love that you and I are both on the same page where we're doing this for a reason, and it's not necessarily to like chase fame or anything like that. We're just doing this as in the realm of wanting to serve and help other people. Mm-hmm. Right. So, and we know we're not popular, or at least
definitely
for me,
not.
Definitely not popular. Yeah. So, I don't know. What do you think? I mean, for me personally, and obviously this is not going to be how every content creator feels, but for me, I just feel like when you live for the likes, you kind of lose sight of your purpose.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree, because I mean, with that being said, it's like you're not really fulfilling your purpose at that point. It's like you're just doing it exactly what you say. You're just doing it for likes.
Yeah, you're trying to chase that trend.
And when you're doing that, it's like, I guess it's kind of like, I don't know, just use an example of like somebody, like I'll just use myself an example in terms of like my coaching business, right? Like if I'm just chasing it for the money, like I won't, that's really not my purpose. Mm-hmm. Obviously it would be nice to have the money, that's what a lot of people do.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, my purpose is to serve people. It's to help people. It's either it's to lose weight or gain weight, or, just have that mentality or that discipline to just get out there and go to the gym.
Right.
Like, that's my purpose, is to get that person to get out of their groove, get their edge back, rebuild that person to whoever they want to be or who they were once before. So I'm just using that as an example. I'm like, I'm not here, I'm like creating content, but I'm also trying to get a message across. I'm just trying to allow myself to get seen so people who needs my help knows that I'm trying to do that.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Because there's definitely people that could benefit with your expertise or your experience. So, I mean, probably the fastest way to do it right now in our time is social media, right? But again, if your purpose is just for driving money, that's not a sustainable like purpose. Listen, I mean, how often do you hear people, in their dream job, and then one day they're like, I'm not getting paid enough for this, and then they just walk out. We hear that story so many times, and same thing here. Like, if that's your whole reason, then it'll just be a matter of time before you're just like, you know what, it's not worth it. It's not worth my mental health. Like, I'm out of this.
Yeah.
So you really have to anchor in on your purpose, because otherwise you can lose it all if you have it anchored on the wrong thing.
It's funny that we just talk about money, right? Because, everybody loves money. Everybody wants to be rich, but at the same time, being rich or having all the money in the world, it doesn't really bring you happiness.
Absolutely.
And there are a lot of people out there who have everything in the world. Like, they could buy everything they want, but it doesn't lead to happiness. So, I mean, that's a pretty good example.
And then, it's amazing how, like, kudos to those that are doing it, but using social media to monetize. It's really impressive. Like, kudos to those that are successful at doing it and love doing it and like do it with intention. But at the same time, it's like, man, social media makes it so easy to lose yourself.
Lose focus.
Yeah, to lose your focus, lose sight of your purpose, your why, just
Your
for the
why.
sake of, getting a like or getting a new subscriber, a new follower.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh, you see like the most like unsuspecting characters doing like following the TikTok trends and stuff like that. It's like, but that's not who you are. What are you doing? Like, you really just out here stretching for that the new demographic. Like,
Yeah. And that's what a lot of people are doing now. They follow a trend and they just keep it going.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's like,
And it's not in alignment with like their theme and their whole like their platform.
yeah.
Like gosh, you see like religious moguls like using TikTok music that are totally not in alignment with like their belief system. I'm like, wow, you really went there.
Yeah.
But I mean, by all means, if that's what you think is, works for you, then again, no judgment, I guess.
Yeah.
No judgment, because again, if it works for you, man, kudos.
Yeah. Do what works for you.
I know for me personally, like, I've had those moments where it's like, man, like it's really cool that people are seeing our podcast and it's like feeling really good. But as long as, the message we send out there resonates with you and benefits you in some way, that's really all we're here for.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine like all the energy and time we put into creating content just because we want to be seen. Like, I don't see that as a fulfilling reason to keep going.
Yeah. There has to be that why, like you mentioned earlier, that purpose.
Because our whole intent, like the whole reason we even agreed to start this was like building our empire, building a legacy in silence and sharing what we've learned.
Based on experience.
Yeah, with other people.
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned that now, like you're bringing it up, because I know in the beginning you mentioned, why there's a still picture instead of, seeing us in different scenery or whatever. But the actual purpose of that too is not to just focus on us.
Yeah.
But to actually focus on what we talk about.
Right.
Like our actual content of, what we're trying to get, the message,
The
right?
message, yeah.
So that's also part of it, our whole
That's true too.
a whole setting is based off of that. You know, it wasn't just because we want you guys to see different views or scenery of where we are, but also the major major thing about it was we didn't want the focus to be us. We wanted it to be the message that we're telling or the experiences that we're going through.
Right.
That's what it was.
Yeah. Kind of like, just having a casual conversation with our friends, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, to that point, yeah, like it was never our intention for us to like, for our faces to be recognizable or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
that's not what we're here for.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to wanting to build an empire, wanting to build a legacy, sharing our experiences, our life stories. Also, we like to share tidbits on like our beliefs, our faith, things that work for us so that, anybody that's listening could possibly benefit for it.
Yeah.
And then also long term, I would like for our kids to be able to see what we've done and how we've helped people, just kind of building that for them so that they can continue on and
Follow that same
yeah.
path or
Yeah. Well, it doesn't have to be the exact same path, but just
do something better.
following the path of sharing positivity and and
trying to do better.
yeah, be
Building-
better than us
Yeah,
actually.
be better than us, build better habits, have stronger faith. Like, be better.
Ultimately, yes.
Yeah. We're going to be that example that we're going to lead by example, or we're going to set that example. But, standards are going to be pretty high on whatever we do or whatever they plan to do.
Right. And, if we're going to set the standard high for them, then we have to show them.
Yeah, lead by
Right.
example.
We have to lead by example. Like, we have to show them how hard we work and the time and effort put into it. Right? Because ultimately, like, we want to leave that impression on our kids. Like, we want our kids to remember how we are. They're not going to know every little detail about like our life, but I would love for our kids to remember us as like we were the trailblazers. We kind of broke out and followed a path with the most resistance, but ultimately for our benefit, not only our benefit, but also for theirs.
Yeah. Also want to like know that not everything in life is easy. You have to work hard. There's obviously that. Whatever you do in life, you have to grind. You gotta hustle.
Right.
And then it just goes back to doing everything in silence. Like, even though nobody's there to watch you, nobody's clapping for you, like, you just got to do it anyway.
Right.
It's like someone doesn't have to see you to know that you're working hard. It's that integrity that you got to have, that you're continuing to put in that hard work, and eventually it'll pay off.
Exactly. And that just kind of circles back to purpose over popularity. Like, again, the sacrifices we make, the time we put in, the blood, sweat, tears, like, those aren't things people see, and we're not going to get big likes or like you said, nobody's going to be clapping for that, but the silent hustle is fueling our purpose. Yeah.
And with that too, it's like, I feel like that's probably the better way to build an empire, is in silence. Like, nobody has to know exactly what you're doing. Like, really, nobody has to know. Like, we always talk about, me and you, right? Like, we don't tell everybody, or we don't tell anybody our goals, our dreams, whatever we're thinking, or even like our business ideas, because if we were to tell them, they're not going to be on the same level as us because they
won't
don't have,
understand.
yeah, they don't have the same mindset that we do.
Right.
And at the same time, they're probably going to be like, you can't do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not going to work for you.
Yeah.
Like, and
Just because they haven't seen it done, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, and of course, like, you know, people would say that out of love and concern for us, you know, so that we don't face disappointment, but that's not.
yeah.
That's not what, I don't know, that's just not what we believe.
Yeah.
Like, I don't believe that, you know, that this is it. And I feel like there's nothing wrong with wanting more
Yeah.
and working for more and aspiring for more. Not in a selfish way
Yeah.
at all, but like in a way that is, that it benefits not only us ourselves as individuals, but for you and I as a couple, and for us, you know, as parents, as a family. I just feel like we can offer more.
There's a lot of things we could do more of, do better in. And, you know, I think we always talk about how, I don't know, how we plan to, you know, how we plan everything in terms of like our future, you know, like the steps that we have to do. And we always, you know, visualize, we write things down, and we always got to think about that we just have to start.
Right.
Like, no matter what we do in life, like, you know, like failing, right? Like we talked about how people are not going to have the same mindset as we do because, you know, they don't want us to see us fail, right? Which is out of love and concern. But at the same time, it's like, how are you going to know if you fail if you haven't even tried
If you don't try.
Yeah. So, like, that's why, I don't know, we talk about it a lot. Like, we just got to start. We've been seeing a lot also, like, you know, through social media. We've been seeing it through a lot of things that, you know, what do you call that? Like, the thing that we just went through, the whole mastermind, you know, business system, that
Seminars.
the seminars, yeah. Like, that was the common thing was, you know, you just got to start.
You have to start.
You have to start, and you just, you know, you just have to roll with it.
Yeah.
It's like.
And it's funny because the more we talk about this, the more it shows up in our face, like in everything. Like we'll see it like in the grocery store, we'll see it on billboards, or like it just keeps presenting itself to us. So it's kind of like reaffirms like, okay, we're on the right track.
Right track, yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because that reminds me of this quote I saw. I cannot tell you who said it, but it was a quote, something along the lines of like, you don't fail, you fall. But it's when you stop getting up that's when you fail.
Yeah.
I was like, that was a good one.
Yeah. There's a one that in basketball too. It's like you fall, I think it's like you fall 7 times, you get up 8, something like that, you know? Like, no matter what happens, like, you always get up, you know? That's the one thing I also see now is, like, don't quit.
Yeah.
Like, keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
Like, don't quit.
Yeah.
It's like you haven't you haven't experienced hard yet. Like, you're getting there.
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
But again, not everybody's going to see that grit. You know, not everybody's going to see the blood, sweat, tears in building an empire.
Yeah, everybody's just going to see the big picture and how you got there. Pretty much the final product, right?
Yeah, and then they'll say stuff like, oh, you're lucky.
Yeah, you're lucky.
Fool? No.
No. No. And that's pretty much what everybody says. Like, you know, like you said, they don't see that hard work. They don't see the grit. They don't see blood, sweat, tears. Like, nobody sees that. And nobody ever will.
Yeah, that's because that's not, for for public consumption.
Mm-hmm. They just want to see the final product.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to see the big picture, and that's it.
And honestly, if there's anybody out there that's considering like choosing the path of, starting up a business or, just putting themselves out there on social media, you're going to see the worst in people.
Yep.
So, again,
A lot of the haters.
it's please, like, make sure if you're going to put yourself out there, like, make sure you have a strong purpose, because, man, people will go at you, man, like, and they go deep, too.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, have a strong purpose, because...
And just know it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
Regardless if, even if you do have a strong purpose, that, what Tracy's trying to say is that you gotta have that strong purpose, because you have to fall back on that.
Yeah.
You have to realize what you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
Your why. You have to know that, because if people come at you and they're gonna come hard, and you have nothing to fall back to, and you fall down, you're just gonna crumble in the
fold.
ball. You're
Yeah.
gonna fold. Like no one's gonna come and save you,
Yeah.
but yourself. But you have to. That's one of the things that you pretty much have to overcome.
Mm-hmm.
You have to face it. It's gonna come.
Yeah.
And it's gonna come hard.
Yeah, please don't think you're going to put yourself out there and miraculously everybody's going to love you and everything you put out there.
Mm-hmm. There's haters out there.
Yeah.
And that's
And
the
trolls.
truth. Yeah, and trolls, and yeah.
Yeah, so you better have a real strong why of why you want to do it.
Yeah. And remember that.
Yeah.
Instill that into your heart, your mind.
Literally post it everywhere, like hang it on your walls, write it on your mirrors, like
Yeah. Do something that will make you remember your why, your purpose.
you got to hold on to that.
Mm-hmm.
Because ultimately at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, like, if what you're doing or what you're putting out there, if nobody ever saw it, would you still do it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like if you spent hours on a video and you're about to post it, just remind yourself, like, if nobody ever saw this, would I still be doing this?
Mm-hmm. Would you be okay with it?
Would you be okay with it? Yeah. Would
you
you be okay if no one ever saw your content?
Mm-hmm.
No one ever liked it.
Mm-hmm.
No one shared it.
Mm-hmm.
People are trolling you.
Mm-hmm.
People are sending hate messages.
Mm-hmm.
If all that was happening, would you still continue to do it? Like, if you can say, yeah, I'm still going to do it, then you must have a real strong purpose, or you must really have a strong reason for doing it.
Mm-hmm. What about for you? If you ask yourself that question, like, what you're doing now,
What I'm doing now?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know my why.
Mm-hmm.
I know that what I'm putting out there, what I'm offering is not for me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
It's to be of service to others. So, like, I know that the skill sets that I have and that I've attained through studies and everything like that, like, it could really help a lot of people. So, me putting out content, yeah, if no one was ever to see it, I would still put it out there, because you just never know.
Someone will see it.
Yeah, eventually.
It's not 100 people seeing it, but all it takes is one person to see it.
Mm-hmm.
It only takes you could post 100 things.
Because even, okay, say again, nobody ever sees it, but just putting out that positive message, positive energy out there,
Yeah.
That's what you put out there, you attract. So, yeah, I definitely would love more positivity coming my way.
Yeah.
So if I keep pumping it out there, and it'll come back to me too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's also a good thing to remember too.
Yeah.
But yeah, what about you?
I mean, to be honest, yeah. I mean, like I said, it just goes back to our purpose and why we're doing it, the main thing is being able to help people, being able to serve people, for those who actually need it. And I post content almost every day when I do have it, Monday through Friday, and I'm not doing it for the likes. Like, I mean, I know a lot of people see it, and I don't care if people don't like it or if people don't comment on it. Like, I really don't care. That, like, we've been talking about this whole episode. Like, it's not about that.
Right.
Like, I was gonna mention earlier, like, it doesn't matter if you post 100 things on your Instagram or on your Facebook or whatever. It just takes one person who needs it to actually see what you're posting. And it only takes one person to actually react to it and to actually see that it could help them. It could benefit them. Like, and that's all it does. It takes one person.
Right.
And with that one person, you get to help them, you get to serve them, whatever their needs are, you're able to help them get through whatever they're going through, whether it's, fitness, life, mindset, discipline, whatever you're offering, to be of service to that person.
Right.
Like, to be honest, like, if I could just serve one person and I could really help one person versus helping 5 who don't really care about anything, like, I'll do that. I'll help that one person.
Right.
Like,
Quality.
quality over quantity.
Right.
Like, I think so. The answer to that question is, yeah, I'd still do it. I mean, I'm honestly still doing it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And it kind of just goes back to being patient, right? So.
But yeah, again, it's just, like we say all these things, and like, how we're not at all bashing like people that, that, what am I saying? Like, we're not at all like hating on anyone, like,
Yeah.
People that are successful on social media. And I don't know, it's just a really cool place, like, and in a really cool way to get your message out there. Like,
It's just one way.
Yeah, there's so many creative ways of getting your message out there, and social media just kind of makes it easier for you to get it out faster.
Yeah.
And kind of beyond your physical reach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it just makes small business owners have an easier time on reaching more people and further distances.
Yeah.
It's actually a pretty incredible time we live in. I mean, just imagine what marketing was like before. Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the amount of money I would see like small business owners put into
Spending.
Yelp.
Yeah, Yelp.
Oh man.
Or flyers, or marketing is hard back in the day. Now it's so much easier. Like, you probably don't even have to step out of the office to market. There's so many things that you could do now. Social media, Instagram, Facebook, like you said, Yelp. Like, there's so many ways that you could do it.
Yep. But I highly advise, be careful what you put out there. And also, I'm not even talking about be careful what you post. Like, be careful what you like, what you comment, because, that kind of message you put out there, like, indirectly, like, that comes back to you. So just keep that in mind. So be kind to one another, people.
Be kind. Always have that positivity.
Yeah.
I always like to say, no matter what happens, like, I always say kill them with kindness. No matter how much anybody hates you, or, you know what I mean? You don't have to hate back, just do it in a more positive and...
Yeah, just spin it.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I actually get more of a thrill that way for me. Like, I'm done, like, hating on people.
Being angry or getting offended with whatever people are saying and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just energy wasted.
Yeah, I'm past that.
Yeah. I think we're to the point where we're just like, I wouldn't say we're masters at it, but we're definitely getting better about like just spinning it and just being like, hopefully whatever hurt they have, like, it gets resolved, because like, I don't know, we're at a different place in our lives where we just hope the best for everybody.
Yeah.
So yeah, just keep pushing out that positivity, and it'll come back to you.
Build that legacy in a positive way.
I like
Don't.
our little public service announcement here.
Yeah. I mean, it's the truth.
Spread kindness.
Spread kindness.
Yes,
Always
please.
smile. You never know who you're gonna end up talking to, and that one smile. Be nice to everybody. Say hi. Shake people's hands. Like you never know. You never know. Someone's gonna need that,
Yeah.
and that's gonna change their day, change their life. That could be a pivotal moment in their life.
Absolutely.
So, all
Yeah.
right.
Well, I
well,
guess that was
well, what is your biggest takeaway?
the biggest takeaway. Um, I mean, I know our topic was, legacy over likes, and just living that purpose, not popularity. I just I don't know if it's really a takeaway, but I'm just grateful that you and I agree that
That's one of the things we talk about being grateful for, I guess.
yeah, yeah.
Grateful takeaway, whatever.
Okay, but I'm glad that you and I are on the same page as far as like there's stuff that we are happy to share with our audience, but that we also have a part of our life that's just for us and our family. That there are boundaries. We're holding boundaries, and we respect our boundaries. Because again, our whole message about building an empire in silence, like there are things that not everyone needs to know. But I do feel like we're very much in agreement as far as what can be shared that'll benefit others. So thanks for that.
You're welcome.
What about you? What is your greatest takeaway?
What are my greatest
takeaway?
greatest takeaway with this episode? I would say just, our objective was like living for purpose, not popularity. So having that purpose of what we're doing, that's my biggest takeaway. Like, like I said, I'm not doing things for the money. I'm not doing it to get known. Like, my biggest thing is being able to help people. Like, I think that's one of my biggest and like, what do you call this? Like, the best, my biggest skill set, I guess, is being able to serve people, being able to help people. Like, I want to continue to do that, and that's always been my purpose in life, was just helping people. So,
Beautiful.
yeah, that's my takeaway for this episode.
Yeah. I can tell that you're making an impact because I see the ads you're putting out there. I see the responses that you're getting. So I'm like, cool, awesome. I'm glad you're kind of getting the best of both worlds.
Yeah, it's getting there. Again, just gotta be patient.
That's right. Amazon wasn't built overnight.
Yeah.
Such a random example.
It's not gonna take 4 years, but
We'll see. We got this. Okay. Well, that is it for our episode today. Thank you for joining us. And if you made it to this point, congratulations. You made it to the end of the episode.
if you like anything, if anything hit you right in the chest and, you felt it, feel free to like, subscribe. If you think that this episode or our podcast is going to help others, share it.
Please.
And then, let us know. If you have any comments, suggestions, or if you want certain topics that you want us to talk about, or, let us know. We'll drop it down in the comment section, or, go on our Instagram at the Empire Behind Closed Doors podcast, and, message us.
Yeah.
We'd like to hear from the power couples, and we'll go from there.
Awesome. All right, guys.
All right.
Stay tuned for our next episode. That'll drop next week, next Saturday. And we'll see you there.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.